Imagine yourself the majestic white wall of Antarctica, for which the secret is hidden, that would have changed our perspective on history planeto day. You will learn that earlier it was known only to the selected shocking revelations which scientists made in ice myself cold continent. These secrets have been hidden from the public for a long time, could change everything. What we know about our world. Be careful, because this is history. Revealed thanks to amazing photographs. Make ants run over your skin. From surprise and distrust, Antarctica is the southernmost continent on Earth. Opened by Russian researchers in 1820, this end is covered with thick soil. At lots of food here for more. Besides that, some experts speculate what like formations could arise till appearance organic life on Earth. Expedition 1912 to Antarctica by a famous British researcher, Robert Falkland Scott, ended in tragedy in 1913. That only one participant could return home alive brought with me rare photo archives, which are possible, contains information about the legendary Ice Wall 1 of the Mysteries of Antarctica. According to the delivery, this wall intersects the entire ice continent. Most of the pictures made by Scott's command, still eating enclosed British archives. However, in recent years, a small selection of photos hypothetically capturing another civilization for the ice steno search the internet. The platform will be banned in Russia in December 2022. Resurfaced picture, prescribed by Robert Scott and dated from 1912 to 1913. The landscape behind the icy mountain is visible in these shots. After overcoming extremely low zones temperature, the warm south opens with gradually disappearing ices. Appearance of vegetation, including the forest, and finally, stony shore heading to the unknown ocean. There are various artifacts scattered along the shore. Ruins of ancient temples and statues depicting people and mysterious creatures. Here many people ask questions. Why participants of polar expeditions, it was profitable. Endure the toughest test, eating frozen food, moving on skis and suffering from frostbite, knowing that the probability survival extremely low. Neither one treasure hunter nor Spanish conquistadors did not take such a risk, despite his courage and preparedness for predictions. Officially considered that Robert Scott died on the way back to the ship Terra Nova, which delivered him into Antarctica. However, unofficial research of the late 20th century shows that the famous researcher possibly killed turned out to be that all rest points are on the return route. There were empty stocks of food, fuel, and equipment disappeared that led to death expeditions. Some guess that the pastures could be destroyed by some predators pursuing aliens. But main suspicion falls on the captain of the ship. Terrain possible. Robert Scott learned too much and did not want to keep this information in tiny in this way. Could make him talk forever. Card exist. Created in ancient times by Admiral Pierre Voyage, which hurts accurate mapping of Antarctica's coasts and reliefs. If it was composed with the help of satellites, with infrared, with sensors able to see through ice-all, this provokes thought that Antarctica represents a huge artificial refrigerator designed to close the passage to other worlds. And this truth about us is carefully hidden. Possible. No precipitation. For 2,000 years, however, Antarctica contains higher 80% of all the world's freshwater reserves, one of unique objects hidden under ice crustis. The Lake Eastite was discovered by Russian scientists in late 20th century. The area of the reservoir reaches approximately 161,000 square meters. 58 feet, and maximum depth exceeds 3,937 feet. Hidden lake under ice thickness 11,880 06.30 feet. And the surface. The temperature drops to 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and though there is no world of pressure, great researchers still found living organisms there. These Bacteria evolved in isolation from other species, so they completely different from known science, microorganism, however east. This is just one of many similar lakes in Antarctica general numbers that can exceed 400. There are areas on the territory of Antarctica where the surface of the Earth is not covered with water. Objects, one of such places is the Bentley Falls located on the ground. Mary Burthis Fall probably formed as a result, tectonic processes and reaches depths 333 feet below sea level. Despite considerable depth, she filled by snow. The continent Antarctica is divided into two parts, western and eastern sheets of eastern Antarctica, significantly thicker. Their altitude varies from 10 to 13,000 feet. As the thickness of the ice of western Antarctica noticeably less about 3,600 feet. This difference is related to that under the eastern islands are located remnants of ancient supercontinent driven away, included in himself, such modern continents, Africa, South America, India, Australia, and Antarctica itself. When the Earth broke tectonic activity, part of the Antarctic continent found itself near the South Pole, and its ancient landscapes found buried under layers of LDA. These ancient geological structures are called crowns. Continents with stable stone corsage, whom can consisting of 100 to 500,000 years from the beginning of the 20th century, when first researchers set out to conquer the South Pole began to appear messages about the strangeness and anomalies in these places. One of the bright examples became the expedition of Robert Falcon Scott, which reached South Magnetic Pole 1819-12. During my journey, the team lost only one participant, but the return proved fatal for everyone groups. The official version reads, "What is the reason for death? Participants became extreme climate impacts. Antarctica, nevertheless, record found later point to that. What members of the expedition faced not only with natural difficulties, but and with royal phenomena, like mysterious glowing balls which seemed to destroy them one by one. At the end of 1,000 to 950 years, completed expedition with tragic outcome, Southern Pole emerging from the peaceful station. Out of 6 participants, only 2 returned, since only one of them, Yuri Korshunov, preserved. And clarity of mind? Later he described what happened, claiming that the group was attacked by a huge shinning season, diameter 50-65 feet. This object, according to Korshunov, changed its color and form, sometimes reminiscent of sausage holes, which he could move under. The influence of this creature, the snow, instantly melted, and people received serious health, their clothes turning into burnt sticks. Another incident occurred in 1966. Expedition USA, starting from Middle Station, returned without a trace among 17 participants. However, later half of them ended up in psychiatric hospitals. All reports and records of this expedition were immediately secreted. Researchers repeatedly encounter red mystical phenomena in Antarctica, huge glowing balls and figures, appearance of which accompanied by magnetic anomalies and supported by snow became deadly threatening for many participants of the expedition in the area of the southern magnetic pole. This mysterious phenomenon got its name in 1966, thanks to American physicist Roy Christopher, which surrounded him with plasma viruses. He counted what these objects represent: living beings consisting of clumps of plasma. Russian students also recognize the existence of such anomaly, but interpret it otherwise. They believe, what is this psychophysical energy clusterable to cause hallucinations and cause people damage, powerful electrical discharges? Antarctica is just part of the other white wall. However, research is conducted on its strict control and censorship. The whole serious information about the white wall or laughs or disappear without trace from archives and the internet. This mysterious object stretched along the 180th meridian of the afternoon. The ocean was launched with navigational maps and services. Nonetheless, experienced sailors and submarines aware of its existence, but avoid. Discussing this topic, impression is created that someone purposefully tries to hide information about this construction. This mysterious object, named the Great White Wall in 2020, stretches from Antarctica to the Arctic Ocean. The length of the wall is approximately 1,000 miles. The width fluctuates from 3 to 13,000 feet. A height reaches 1,000 feet. The structure of the wall is different at different points. In places visible supporting columns and counterforce in other areas of construction, similar to gates or pyramidal formations located nearby. Obviously artificial origin and also areas, covered edge and sand destruction is observed in some parts of the wall. Creating impression of metallic or other, there is no tension inside. What is remarkable in scientific literature, sometimes published, articles about ancient architectural objects in this region, which could have belonged to long-lost civilization. However, the fact existence Great White Wall remains under the veil of secrets of official science. Hypothesis, its existence was first proposed scientists studying square icebergs in the sea Ross on the shore, Antarctica in the process of its research. They pushed on mysterious object reminiscent of a huge wall. For a better understanding of the question of the Great Underwater Wall, let's go back to history. In 1884 year, the international community determined Green Meridian, how zero name. Meridian received. In honor Greenwich's Observatory in London. Where does the calculation of world time come from? A team among scientists participated in the discussion of choosing zero meridian was a Canadian-Scottish Sir Sandford Fleming. It was rumoured that he was a member of one of the Masonic lodges and occupied it significantly. Position Fleming proposed establishing the zero meridian along the underwater wall. In this way, reckoning time should have started with 180th meridian. Interesting note that this meridian is mirrored opposite to Greenwich and divide the world today and tomorrow. However, Fleming's proposal was rejected in favor of Greenwich. Possible. Such a decision allowed to avoid excessive transparency. Starting from 2010, photos and videos started appearing on the internet. Mysterious underwater wall shot by bloggers and enthusiasts oozing. Online cards and navigational services for ocean exploration scholars and sailors expressed their thoughts cautiously relative to existence of this alien giant construction at the bottom of the quiet ocean. Unfortunately, now we have to put exclusively on saved images and videos. As of 2019, this mysterious education was removed, with most online cards. Official research on this object also stopped. Initial information about the Wall Earth appeared on Google Maps, and before its removal, company representatives said that this is just a program mistake, result of uploading photos of Ocean Day. However, if this is true, that's why on some areas of the map, Google still visible carelessly buried pyramids, gates and other unusual structures resembling artificial structures as for the fall's heights. So they look like this, as if they were successfully painted. Now almost the entire length of the wall. Replace the washed-out underwater area. Programmers, Google, leave no more comments about this object. To remember, that is the first mention of a giant submarine equipping problems arose until the advent of the internet. There is a prophecy about the White Tsar and the great underwater wall fixed in the book Prophet of Sugar. It tells about some white king who has woken up, who will one day show this picture to the world. It is assumed that she will become triangular stone, liberating humanity from these lies and revealing to people the true essence of existence. In 2024 year, traces the mysterious wall can be seen. On the archipelago, Fiji cards show that it crosses the island of Taveuni. Experience diversa. Long time ago, strive to study this structure in this area, but sinking is allowed only in one place. Where is the picturesque coral reef located? Riff I will tell. You an interesting fact. Divers killed off course meets armed patrol without identifying marks, persistently recommend a stick to tourist route. Here if diver accidentally finds himself in a closed room zone with video camera, his equipment confiscated and all materials are created under the premise of protecting nature. Worth remembering that the northernmost archipelago of Fiji lies island Rabia, significant portion of which is covered, seemingly specially treated clouds. In the network you can find data about that it has been in this area for a long time secret. Research on the Great White Wall Island for Rent Powerful Corporation celebrates its 10th anniversary. Maybe this is the same organization engaged in digging in Antarctica. Official science approaches the topic existence, giant white wall in the Pacific Ocean with great caution. Interesting. What's in the Internet archives? More can be found. Old scientific publications in which mention of a colossal underwater structure extending from one pole to Polion, the bottom of the quiet ocean, for example in the international publication Nature Geosciences. A series of articles came out a few years ago devoted Antarctica, where researchers analyzed the phenomenon in detail. Perfect square or rectangular icebergs in the sea area, Rossa exactly where recently the largest wall on Earth was marked on the maps. Really amazing. What's in these research scholars open indicate the presence of underwater rock formations, giant sizes, which they think rendered influence on the formation of square icebergs. More than that, an interesting fact is noted in these publications. According to studies, the wall penetrates deep beneath the surface of Antarctica, and in fact, it almost divides it. Half of the ice continent is characterized monolith relief, while the other has volcanic origin. What could this mean is obtained? What Antarctica is divided into two completely different, according to the natural composition of the regional underwater wallace, part of the ice barrier, Antarctica. How many more secrets does Antarctica hide? And the scientist will succeed in unraveling them all. The answer to this question remains open. The mysterious continent continues to keep its secrets, promising new discoveries in the future. Good luck to all, and see you soon.